A lady swallowed a spoon. Hello everyone and welcome to the final episode of Letting a Wheel Pick My Craft. I know, devastating, the final episode.
How could you?
And you might be wondering why it's the final episode, why aren't you doing it anymore? It was never supposed to go on for this long, basically. I was only going to do like 1 or 2 of them, and then it kind of spiraled, and I think we're up to like the 20th episode now, and I feel like it's had its day. I've tried to like zhuzh the wheel up in the past and change things around and mix it up a bit and try and keep it fresh, and I just feel like it ends up getting a bit stale. I felt like it needed to come to a natural ending. I've got other series happening, I've still got the Blind Pinterest Challenge, I've got Cooking with Ant, I've got my new Sewing Adventures series, so one of them had to bite the dust, and it's The Wheel Picks My Crafts. So yes, I'm very sorry if you really enjoyed this series and you wanted it to continue, but things have to end eventually. I will put a playlist up in the corner somewhere of the entire series if you want to go back to the very beginning and have like a proper little binge.
No thanks.
But anyway, let's go out with a bang and find out what we're going to be making and hope the wheel is going to be nice to us for the final episode. Okay, let's find out and spin that wheel. Ah, no. Why? A chair. I think this is the second time it's landed on chair, and I don't think the first one went very well. And it's so specific. This isn't gonna go well, I know it's not. I know for a fact the wheel's like, this is the final episode. I really need to screw you up on this one. Really send you off with a bang. Great. Thank you very much for that. And this is where we find out just basically how bad this episode's going to be. We find out what this chair needs to be made out of. It's either gonna be bad or really bad. I don't think there's anything in between, because I can't make chairs. We've tried this before. But let's find out and spin that wheel. Well, I'm not sitting on it. It's paper.
You fat bitch.
I'm not sitting on a paper chair. At least paper's not like too bad, but like a paper chair. Okay, well, it is what it is. A paper chair. Fantastic, very practical. Okay, so let's find out if I can use other materials just to help me out a little bit. And obviously I would like yes. And spin that wheel. Alright, no. The wheel knew this was the last episode. It was like, I'm gonna give you a proper shitter. I'm gonna give you such a shitter that you're gonna be happy the wheel picks your crafts is over. And finally, let's find out what my budget is for this paper chair. Paper's not too expensive, so I just want a budget. As long as it doesn't land on like below 10, I think I'll be alright. So anything above 10, I'm happy with. But it's out of my control. So let's find out and spin that wheel. Okay, 20. 20's not too bad. 20's a perfectly fine budget for this. So a paper chair, specifically just paper, and 20 quid budget. I can do that.
You sure?
It's just going to be a very, very ornamental, decorative chair. I know some people would want me to challenge myself to make this chair that I could actually sit on, but absolutely not. I like my food too much.
You fat bitch.
I've recently started adding cheese back to my salad, so I'm going to be stacking the weight on soon. Alright, well, I'll see you in a few weeks and we can make a paper chair. How fun and exciting. Okay, I'm finally back. I hope everyone missed us lots and lots. You better have. And I haven't really bought anything for this paper chair because, don't know, I just thought I wanted to challenge myself. I've got a whole tub of paper in the studio, different colours and stuff, and I think I can make a chair with just that. Also, I'm saving for a house at the minute, so I'm trying to be a bit thrifty and, you know, stingy and tight.
And I get 2 rolls out of 1.
Because houses are expensive. Also, by the way, I don't have like a particularly big budget for my house. I'm hoping to be like sorting it out next year and stuff. And I've been looking around and everything. And I thought it'd be fun just to put my budget into somewhere down south. Just to see what I could kind of get. Guess what I could afford down south with the budget that I've got for my house up north? I could afford a parking space. Like, how ridiculous is that? I don't understand how people down south can afford to live. Literally, it seems impossible. I feel so sorry for yous. Move up north. How are we up north? We're more friendly up here and housing's slightly more affordable.
A northerner has been accused of terrorising London by walking around saying hello.
See what I mean? Look at all this paper I've got. Well, would they count? I think that's 4 actually. I should get rid of that. That's also foam. I can't use that. What's that? What is that? Oh, it's a 3D pen. Why is it in my paper drawer for? I never really used that again, did I? That was a waste of money. Why have I got it in here for? Surely I can put that somewhere else. It shouldn't really be in the paper thing. I've got another drawer for it. You'll be happy to know that I've relocated my 3D pen into my badge maker drawer.
Very sad.
That's basically a tub that, like, will I ever use it again? I don't know. There's a possibility I will, but probably it's not. Right, paper. Let's make this chair. I'm not going to be particularly ambitious with this chair. It's going to be a literal chair made out of paper. I was thinking about doing
a giant man.
Kind of like blending paper up and turn it into molds and making like a cast paper chair. But that would take me a really long time, and after Halloween and stuff, I'm on a massive time crunch. Also, I know for a fact December's around the corner.
It's Megan, no! Look away!
And I've got all that to do, so I can't be too ambitious. Ooh, my handmade paper. Can you remember when I did that? They're dead nice, aren't they? This is the problem why I shouldn't go into my boxes, because I just find stuff. Can you remember when I did paper quilling? That was... well, I don't think I enjoyed that very much, did I? Some paper boxes. Oh, what are these? More bits of paper and more paper. We've got napkins in here too. That's technically paper. I can use napkins if I wanted to. And doilies. And can you remember when I made my feather thing? By the way, that feather bird thing that I made him on the Blind Pinterest Challenge episodes, it fell apart. It fell apart so bad. Like, catastrophically fell apart. So it doesn't exist anymore, unfortunately. Right, I think I'm sorted. And yes, I am going to be using sellotape to stick all this together, which isn't against the rules, if you remember. I'm allowed to use materials such as glue and stuff like that. Okay, I think we'll start with the legs and just work our way up. I think we all know what a chair looks like, don't we? Oh, great start. We've got a leg of a chair. Also, you won't realise, but I haven't actually recorded in a very long time because I've been busy editing all the Halloween stuff. I need a cushion. And then I came down with an absolute terrible flu, which I got from work, obviously. So bad that I thought it was COVID. And during the whole, like, flu thing, I did 3 separate COVID tests on 3 separate occasions, and they all came back negative. But this flu wiped me out. Oh my God. I was absolutely shattered. And the thing is, it is the season of me complaining about catching flus and COVIDs and stuff. It pretty much happens every year.
I can't wait.
It's what I get for working in a hospital. Literally, I walk through the door and I'm just hit with like a wall of germs. I'm just like, please don't give us your sickness bug. Please don't give us your cold. I don't want to get poorly. But it always happens every single year. I remember earlier this year, there was a really bad stomach bug going round. Like proper sickness and diarrhea.
Coming out of me like lava!
And I was determined not to get it because for some reason I like attract germs. I don't know why, but I have never used so much like anti-bac and germ killer and all sorts. I didn't touch any handles. Handles are the worst thing. Never ever touch a handle, and just disinfect your hands every single time you can. And I didn't get the stomach bug, which I was surprised about. I did get shockingly bad flu, but I didn't get the stomach bug, so that's a win. So yeah, I've been quite poorly. Been very, very poorly indeed. But hopefully everyone enjoyed Halloween this year. I feel like it was quite successful, quite fun. You might have noticed I've had a little rebrand as well at the beginning of this. I've just recently decided I fancied a change, so I did like a new intro and stuff. And there might be a new end screen as well by the time I get round to editing everything and doing all the stuff that I need to do. I find it weird though. It's just like, I feel like it's a never-ending cycle of trying to catch up on things and never ever catching up on anything. Does anyone else feel that way? I just feel like I'm constantly trying to put out a fire that just won't like go out. But it's fine. It is fine. We just take it day by day and see what happens. That's the only thing you can do. I'm trying to think about what else has happened since I haven't like recorded in a while. A lady swallowed a spoon the other day at work. They were obviously a patient, so that was interesting. I didn't ask them about the details of swallowing the spoon because I thought they might be a little bit embarrassed about it. What else has happened? Oh, one thing I learned. So I was going to the supermarket, getting my groceries in like you do. Very mundane, very boring. And it was a morning, it was quite quiet and stuff. Got all my food shopping, went to the till, rolled my trolley out of the supermarket, and all of a sudden, as I was leaving, like the door bit, the front trolley wheel kind of like snagged and like it just jammed, and I was trying to force my trolley through the door and it wasn't working. It was very weird. I was like, what is going on? So then a security guard came over, asked us if I had any meat.
You dirty slut.
And I was just like, No. Thought he was like chatting us up or something. Wanted to see my receipt and everything. Looked in my bags. And then got this remote control out and unlocked my trolley. And off I went. I've never felt so violated in my life.
Pimp spit in my mouth and...
I didn't realise they could lock trolley wheels with a remote control as you're leaving the store. A trolley's electric. I just literally didn't have a clue. So they must have thought I was stealing stuff.
I stole one.
Honestly, I was quite pissed off, to be fair. I know they were only doing the job, but he didn't like pop over and say, oh, I'm sorry to bother you, like I just need to do this as like a routine thing or whatever or anything. He just came over and was like, got any meat? Like, what? What are you talking about? Have I got any meat? Also, I didn't buy any meat, so I didn't have any meat. Just fancy not explaining what you're doing to us.
Been over and spread.
Like, just felt very rude. If it happens next time, Tesco mind, I'm gonna kick off big time. I'm gonna go all Karen in the middle of the store. I'll embarrass everyone, including myself.
They can't hear me because they're listening to Kids Bop.
But yeah, so that happened. That was eventful. It's never ever happened to us before in my life. Let me know if that's ever happened to you. And not because you were stealing stuff, because you were innocent and someone locked your trolley. If you're wanting to know what I'm doing, by the way, I'm like doubling all the paper over because I want like a multicoloured seat. This is going to be a tiny chair, I've just realised, but that's fine. I don't think anything else has happened to us really, other than being violated at Tesco by the security guard and catching horrendous flu. But I think that's quite an eventful life, isn't it? No one can say my life's boring. Well, actually, a lot of people do because I don't do anything. Like, seriously, they do. They say my life's really boring because all I do is like work and not leave the house. But I enjoy it. I don't want to see people. I don't want to do things. Do things requires effort, and effort is just... it's just something I'm not really interested in. I don't know whether anyone else feels like that. Like, why do we, as a society,
Here we go.
feel like we need to do things? It's fine just to like sit in quiet and just be alone. I love that. Oh, it's my favourite thing. I don't get enough of it, to be fair. And don't get me wrong, I like a little bit of a social life. I have it at work, chat to people, blah, blah, blah. And then when I come home, I just don't want to say or talk to a single person. I want to make little ugly paper chairs in my studio in silence. In fact, I think that's what we'll finish doing. We'll stick some tunes on and we will finish this paper chair, see what I come up with. I'm not being overly ambitious, I'm not gonna lie, but I think it's kind of gonna look like a chair. We'll soon see. Okay, I'm finally finished making my chair. And also, it just dawned on me there, as I was making this chair. I've made a chair before. I was thinking of a different chair last time I was thinking about it. I've made 2 chairs. This is the 3rd chair now, and the wheel picks my craft. And I'm almost certain the last chair I made was made out of paper, or cardboard, or something like that. As I was making this, it all felt very familiar, and I was like, hang on a second. I feel like I've done this before. This is why the series is ending. There's too many duplicates. And also my memory's shot to shit, so I can't remember if I've actually done it or not.
What?
And also I'm going to show you the exact moment I sliced down the inside of my finger and gave myself a lovely nasty paper cut. Oh, that was a bastard that. Oh, right in the middle of the finger. Bitch. You can't really, there's nothing there anymore, but I proper sliced it deep in this bit. It was so painful. Anyway, I'll show you my little chair that I've made. I think it's quite cute actually. Look at this. Oh, it's a little kind of like tropical style chair. I think that's quite fun, isn't it? At first it was really unstable, so I added these supporting bars. I know, to check me out. And then I used some of them feathers that I had from the previous craft project. I feel like I've made a tropical lifeguard, like station kind of chair. It's given that vibe, isn't it?
No.
Obviously, it's not a practical chair, you're not going to sit on it or anything like that, but I feel like I could give this to someone who's really good at furniture making and stuff, and be like, this is the prototype, I want you to make it like out of wood or like proper chair materials. Oh, this is fun. Shall we keep this one? Where shall we put it? I'll find a place for it. I've got some space up the top, believe it or not, so I might stick it up there.
You dirty slut.
Anyway, I think that just about does it for the final episode of Letting a Wheel Pick My Craft. Hopefully you have enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And hopefully you're not too upset either. I know it can be quite upsetting when things change and things come to an end and stuff. But you never know, you might see the wheel again at some point in a different thing. I haven't planned anything, don't worry. But you know what I'm like, I can't let things go. So no doubt in like a month or two's time, the wheel Picks My Crafts will be back. I also wanted to say a big thank you to Ganja Mama 4002 4,200 for becoming an exclusive VIO. You very important orange, you. Also, isn't ganja like weed? I'm sure ganja's like code name for weed, isn't it? Like, yeah, it's weed. So, is that a grandma that smokes weed? Who's become a very important orange? Good for you. Good for you. I hope you're very chill today, Ganja Mama 4,200. If you fancy sending some my way, I won't complain. Anyway, I'll see you next week for a brand new video. Isn't it kind of sad that the Will Picks My Crafts series is over? It feels like, I don't know, just emosh. Feels very emosh. Oh my god, so emosh. I'm not gonna cry or anything. I'm gonna save it for later when the cameras are off. I don't wanna show my emotions.